What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And I want to answer the question today, which is how big of a star really is Sean O'Malley? So, of course, we know that the bantamweight champion of the world is a big star, but a lot of people are wondering is he as big as he says he is, or as a lot of people think he is? And we're going to have to bust out some numbers for this one. So, let's get into it. So, of course, a big thing with Sean O'Malley's stardom is his social media presence. He was one of the first guys on YouTube to really get going and have something with that. He has a podcast, he has videos, he posts on his channel, reactions, and just fun stuff that he does. And he's gained a lot of interest with that and probably a lot of fans from those too. He has amassed over 3 million followers on Instagram, which actually isn't as big of a number as you might think it is. There's actually a lot of people who are above him that maybe you wouldn't even guess, and he's still pretty far away from the top spot in that category. I think even Ilia Tuporia just passed him on social media, so I don't know. Maybe he isn't as big of a presence on social media as a lot of people think, but a lot of his popularity is stemmed through his social media, if that makes sense. And of course, we could try and look at pay-per-view numbers as well. There's been a lot of reports thrown out as to what that UFC 292 card did in terms of pay-per-views, the one where he fought Aljo, of course. And I think the most fair number that I've seen is about 600,000 pay-per-view buys, which is a lot, to be honest, but it's not the numbers that people were probably projecting or thinking for a guy like Sean O'Malley, considering we all see him as this massive star. So I don't know. I mean, pay-per-views in general, I don't think it's really a fair way to look at how popular a fighter is anymore, because everybody streams fights. No one really buys pay-per-views unless you're like older. Like personally, I might get in trouble for saying this. I've never bought a pay-per-view in my life. So a lot of people just don't buy pay-per-views and they find other ways to watch the fights. So it's not really a fair number to see how many people are actually tuning in to see this guy. And there's been a lot of questions as well as to how he is on the mic. I mean, what makes Sean O'Malley such a big star? Is it his fighting style? I'd say yeah. Is it his popularity on YouTube? Yeah, I think that has a contributing factor, but one thing it definitely isn't is his mic skills, and he's even addressed that himself. He says he has to get better on the mic, and I'm sure he will, but so far, he hasn't really done much in that department. A lot of people see him as kind of boring and things like that, and it's really his fighting style that's really driving him and his popularity right now. So, as long as he keeps putting on good performances, I think people will still tune in to watch him, but he definitely is going to have to get better on the mic, especially if he wants to chase some of the big fights. And of course, Sugar Sean is set to take on Chito Vera at UFC 299, and he's already talking about what's next and what's the next plan after Chito Vera. He, of course, is saying Ilia Tuporia is on his mind, and that's who he wants to fight, either in the Sphere in Las Vegas or in Spain. He wants to have big fights, which is fair. It's a fair ambition to have, but he and many other champions are getting carried away with this double champ status stuff. I think there should definitely be a rule where you have to fight at least 3 contenders in your division, have 3 title defenses, maybe even more, before you can have a chance to go up and fight guys, which is kind of what has been the past. Like, that's what's been happening before, but now people are just getting crazy. Leon Edwards wants to move up. Islam wants to move up. Sean O'Malley wants to move up. Everybody wants to move up and chase that double champ glory, but it's getting a little out of hand right now. And I think there's plenty of contenders for Sean O'Malley to fight at bantamweight. But he is a star. Ilia Tuporia is also a star, and that would be a massive fight. I think people are underestimating how big of a fight that actually would be, especially if it's in Spain at the Bernabeu, in front of all the Real Madrid fans and the people of Spain in general. It would be incredible. It would be a crazy fight and a crazy matchup, but I guess in the UFC world, it doesn't really make all that much sense. But if he can get a fight like that, I think that proves how big of a star he really is. I mean, getting a fight like that, fighting in a soccer stadium, which is way bigger than anything we have over here in North America, it would be crazy if that place was sold out. Granted, a lot of people would be there for Ilya, but Sean would definitely bring in some viewers at least, and people would definitely go in and tune in for that. So, I don't know. It's a big fight. It's big business, and if the UFC thinks that he's ready for that and that he can bring the business they want, then I'm sure it'll get it done. Is he as big of a star as he says he is? I'm not sure. He says he's going to be as big as McGregor, which I don't see happening, but I don't see anybody being as big as McGregor, so I guess you can't really fault him too much for that. But he thinks that he is one of the biggest stars in the UFC, and he is close to that. I don't think he's as big as some of these other guys like Izzy, Jones. I don't even think Makachev or Oliveira even. I don't think he's as big as those guys, but he's definitely getting there. And if you could start winning back fans with more performances and maybe even getting better on the mic, I think that's crucial, to be honest. If he can get better on the mic, I think he will definitely be one of the biggest stars in the UFC. But I'm not sure how much he could do. Like I don't think you can bring Sean O'Malley to somewhere else in the world and completely sell it out unless the rest of the card was stacked, which is something I'm also going to get into in a second. But I think inside of the States, for sure, Sean O'Malley will be massive and you could sell out arenas. But once you go overseas, it's a whole different story. Speaking of stacking cards, I mean, a lot of people are saying that they've stacked the UFC 299 card because they want the pay-per-view to do well and Sean O'Malley's headlining, so it'll make Sean look good and make people think, oh, look, Sean O'Malley sold this many pay-per-views and things like that. Even Aljamain Sterling actually came out and said that's why the UFC stacked this card, which may or may not be true. I think there's just a lot of guys ready to fight right now, and the UFC is just stacking this first half of 2024 because they need to, and these guys need to fight. So I'm not too sure how true that is, but that could definitely be something that was talked about and put in place as well. But even if the card wasn't as stacked, I think Sean O'Malley could still headline a fight in Miami and completely sell the arena out, obviously, and have the place be crazy. Overall, I think that Sean O'Malley is a big star. He's definitely a big star. I just don't think he is as big of a star as he says he's going to be. But who knows? Maybe UFC 299, he goes out there, fights Chito Vera, knocks him out, puts on a great performance, calls out Ilya, and sets up a massive fight in Spain in the summer. I wouldn't be shocked if that happens, and maybe that'll propel his stardom to a whole other level, going over to Europe and fighting there. Might bring a whole new set of eyes to the Sugar Show, and maybe that'll make him even bigger. But yeah, I just don't think right now he's as big as he says he is. There you have it. Those are my thoughts on Sean O'Malley and his stardom right now in the UFC. Let me know what you guys have to say, though. Who do you think is one of the biggest stars? Do you think Sean fits into that category with some of the biggest stars of the sport? I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, and yeah, drop your thoughts down below. Thank you all once again for watching another one of these videos. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of UFC 299 content coming out throughout the week as we get closer to the fight, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, once again, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.